Dear viewers, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to you all. Welcome to our show Scholar Alab with Professor Dr. Mustafa Kamal Nasir. He is currently working as a professor at the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Mawlana Bhashani Science and Technology University, Bangladesh. Ladies and gentlemen, he is also serving as a Dean of the Faculty of Engineering. He has published many research papers in high impact journals. Dear viewers, ladies and gentlemen, we are very, very delighted to have Professor Dr. Mustafa Kamal Nasir on our show this evening. Welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Dr. Mustafa Kamal Nasir. I really feel honor and privileged to attend today's Scholar Talk or Scholar Alab. And after a long time, I get a chance to spend some time with you, Dr. Mahfuzur Rahman. Though it is a virtual or online platform, do you remember at 𝐊𝐚𝐬𝐬𝐫 we had discussed so many topics during our PhD time while we are doing lunch together. I hope today's discussion will also enjoyable and hope young researcher will benefit with this discussion. Thank you
very much. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and to be on air this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, we are hoping for a brilliant session this evening. Our guest tonight, Professor Dr. Mustafa Kamal, he born and brought up at Nagarpur, Tangail, Bangladesh, and then he had his schooling and University of University. He studied his BSc and MSc at Jahangirnagar University, Bangladesh. So we want to know some of your memories and the life that you passed in your schooling time.
Okay, thank you. I born and brought up at a very remote village of Nagarpur, Tangail. My schooling, my primary school and my also high school is there, and my school life is very enjoyable. I enjoy lots of, I play rather than study. And traditional village school, you know, there are actually students are playing more rather than study. So this is actually during this time the child, we parents give too much pressure student for study, but our time we actually play a lot and we do not take any pressure for study. But I get so many school teacher that changed my life. They are teaching methodologies, they are very affectionate to us. And my primary school, I do not have any private tutor or coaching. Even my high school, I didn't get any private tutor or school. That time, 25 or 30 years ago, we are not familiar with the private tutor or in my classroom. Most of the time, the teacher is clear everything. We are attentive in the classroom, but rest of the time, we enjoy a lot. And I finished my SSC. After finishing my SSC secondary school certificate, I came back to the capital city, Dhaka. I admitted at the Government Science College and I completed my higher secondary there. After that, first time I admitted Dhaka University at the Department of Mathematics. But that time there is a craze of computer science. I got admitted, I get chance to admit at Jahangirnagar University, so that I admitted in the computer science and engineering. At 𝐍𝐚𝐬𝐽𝐿 University, I also get so many teacher. They also changed my life. They taught many things of computer science, computer programming, many things of computer science. That time, there is a teacher are greatly engaged with the student, and the a new department or new discipline, faculty and student have a great collaboration. So we enjoy my university life, and I finished my BHC at 2003. After that, I joined as a faculty at People University of Bangladesh. And I continue also my masters, and after finishing my masters, I joined at industry as a software engineer, a reputed Bangladesh Japan joint venture software company. I worked there 1.5 year. But teaching is my passion. Though I work in at industry 1.5 years, but I again back to university. At 2005, I joined as a lecturer at my present university, Mawlana Bhashani Science and Technology University. This is also a new university, and I am the one of the first faculty member. So we start from zero this university, and we also have a close contact with my student from the very beginning, from the first batch. After that, at 2012, at 2008, I became assistant professor, and 2012, I try for my PhD, and I write some of potential supervisor. One of supervisor at University of Malaya, Dr. Rafida, very close match with my research interest, and I wrote her, and she accepted my proposal, and I start my PhD there. And one of the best part of my life at University of Malaya, I enjoy a lot their research facilities, their research environment, and that time I also know how to write the high impact journal, how to research. I take the scholarship from high impact research at 2012 that times. And University Malaya that time offers two prestigious scholarship, HIR and another one Bright Sparks. But I get the HIR, High Impact Research. And my supervisor also very learned woman. She taught us many things. I learned how to research from her. She is very helping and also one of the pioneer in our field. And my PhD journey is very enjoyable. Though there are ups and downs in PhD life, but most of the good things happen in my PhD. And I complete my PhD at 2016. 2016. After that, I come back my university and join as a associate professor. And after that, 2018, I become professor. And in Bangladesh, the university mostly actually high emphasis on the education, not the research. So there is a gap in research, but I try myself to continue research, even though there is some lots of difficulties. But recently, some of my students, I get some project and I am doing my research and I continue. I am trying to publish some high impact research. So this is this is from very beginning to the journey is completed my PhD. Okay, Dr. Mahfuz, thank you.
Prof, who was your inspiration to become an academician in the first place? Is there any?
Actually, in my school life, I got some philosopher teacher, though actually they have greatly inspired, and some of my faculty, some of my teacher in university life, I can say Dr. 𝐊𝐚𝐬𝐽𝐿, Dr. Sharifuddin, Dr. Alamin, Dr. Hanif Ali. So, Dr. Atikul Islam, these are my teacher. They are greatly inspired me to become the faculty member.
I see. All right.
Okay,
Prof,
thank you.
there are many young, I would say, researcher or masters and undergraduate students. They want to go abroad to pursue their masters or PhD. So, what would be your suggestion if they want to, or if they would like to pursue their masters or even PhD somewhere in abroad? So, what would be your suggestion to them?
Oh, actually, in Bangladesh, most of the student we are in our university, also all other university. As a teaching university, Bangladesh is doing very good. But research in Bangladesh, there are gaps of some research university. But when students are trying to get abroad for research or higher studies, first, they have to find the appropriate supervisor who are matching with their field, their interest. Then they can try to write their proposal. They can communicate with the potential supervisor, one or more supervisor, that they have a great or keen interest with this field. And if there is a suitable communication with the supervisor and candidate, then they can easily find a fund. From our country, there is a important to finding a fund for the
Yes.
higher studies. But if a student can write a very good proposal, then they can find the supervisor as well as they can find uh, their also they can find the scholarship. So their higher studies journey will be very easy if they
Prof,
find. Okay.
Prof, sometimes some of the students say we are too young, just doing undergraduate, about to finish our undergrad or masters. How do we communicate with all those professors? I mean, where should we start from?
Oh, okay. This is very nice and interesting question or topics you can. Recently, I work with some student, my master's student. While they are starting their research, basically I am trying to collaborate with some their potential foreign supervisor, so that they can before start their higher study in abroad, they can familiar with the foreign potential supervisor, and supervisor also can measure their potentiality. So some of my students who are pursuing my master who are pursuing their masters under my supervision, I collaborate with the foreign supervisor or foreign professor, so that they can easily get their PhD funding, PhD admission. So it can be a very effective way. uh, Foreign, the for the good quality research, we need collaboration with foreign faculty or foreign research group. And also student can benefit it with this one.
Right. Prof, you are working in the area of computer science and engineering. So, what are the emerging issues that basically you are researching on, or the big shots in your area are researching on?
Okay, thank you. Computer science, basically now a very big domain. You can say the recent, all the people in COVID-19, during this COVID-19, in all profession, we are habituated with using the facilities of ICT, information and communication technology. We are trying to keep the world normal situation during the pandemic of COVID-19. In computer science, lots of branches for higher study and research. Some of these are, I mentioned, there's recently artificial intelligence and robotics have a great impact in the computer science. Basically, robots are evolving from stationary device and perform manufacturing tasks, mobile. We can do all other things using this robotics. And there is a projection that during 2014, around 80 billion investment in the field of artificial intelligence and robotics. So there are high chance to get funding for the research in robotics and artificial intelligence. And another field, you can say big data analysis. Recently, every day, more than petabyte data are stored in web. So big data also a highly
Correct.
interacting field for the research, or the knowledge from database, data mining, deep learning, all those are the related with the big data. And the young student and young researcher can also find their research field in the big data or deep learning or data analysis. And recently, another computer assisted education. We are faculty or who are related to the university or who are the field in the education. We know how this uh, web-based education greatly impact in these
Yeah.
times.
Right.
Every university, every educational institute can be maintain their academic activities using the help of computer assisted education. We
Right.
have some Google Meet, Zoom, some other platform are very familiar with these times.
Right.
Another things, bioinformatics also a great or big field for research. This is a multidimensional biological science and even computer science can combinedly do this research. And we are trying to find a vaccine for COVID-19. The last vaccine, last times the scientists trying, it takes long time, but in this time we are trying to find the vaccine very short time because we have a lots of database. We can analyze this data in the help of computer science. So the biological science and computer science combinedly can make the world make the easier, make the better, and can face the problem of this COVID-19. So bioinformatics also a scope for the researcher.
Right.
And cybersecurity is the one of the important topics because lots of data in the cyber. So we need the security and huge investment. Industry and governments provides a lot of money for the cyber security. So student can also do their research in cyber security. One of the another important things, cloud computing. In this day, everybody you are using the cloud platform. We use the Google Meet, we use Gmail, we use the cloud storage, Dropbox, many cloud service. So this time is not the time for a single application or individual application. Every organization is trying to cloud-based application or cloud-based service. So this can be also interesting topics for the young researcher. Another things I can discuss, this one is my field, IoT, Internet of Things and sensor. The Internet of Things, actually the network of physical object. This time actually we consider everything is connected with the internet. So every device, every object is connected with internet. And this device actually sends the data from the physical object or physical entities, and we gather this data, we process this data, and based on this information we can decide. So IoT and sensor, the recently very hot topics. So young researcher can also engage in or try their fund or try their scope in IoT or sensor networks. So some of potential or emerging technology on computer science, so that young researchers can get their scope in this area.
Right. Excellent, Prof.
Okay.
Prof, the world is somehow heading towards receiving all sort of artificial intelligence, cloud computing that you rightly mentioned about big data, and so on and so forth. I was wondering, being an academician in Bangladesh and heading a school, you are dean of the faculty. So how you are preparing our millennials, our students, toward challenge the world when the world is having all sort of latest technologies?
Okay, thank you. Actually, in our university, we have a high, greatly emphasis on the undergraduate. So in undergraduate, we basically cover all the topics of basic or fundamental topics of computer science. And in the final year, we actually cover the recent trends of computer science, where in our university also student can take a research project. So in research project, actually their choice, their field for the higher studies or research or even for the job. So, and every time we are revising our syllabus based on the industry feedback and also from the researcher feedback. In our syllabus committee, have the people from the industry, people from the research organization, what the current world is engaging with this field of recent trend of the computer science. So we can change our syllabus, and student can even they can choose their research topics, so that the uh, student can engage with the recent field of computer science, and they can habituate or they can move in any area of the computer science.
Right. Professor, for an undergraduate student, do they have any final year project that are more related to research in your university?
Yes, I already mentioned that in our final year we have a 6 credit project, 1 semester project, basically that is maybe industry related or maybe research related. Basically, the student who have the better result, they choose the research project, and the student who have the average result, they are choose the research project that is related to the industry. So we have two types of research project and industry related project.
So basically, the way you produce your product, I would say the student, are you
Yeah.
catering more for industry or more for academic world? I mean, what is the direction of your students, where they go after graduation?
Oh, Bangladesh government have a high emphasis on the, you say recently the present government said digital Bangladesh, and they have a focus on the earn some foreign remittance or foreign money, and government also have a high emphasis on the outsourcing. And presently, lots of IT job in Bangladesh. So actually, the student after completing their BHC, they get job in the industry. And student, in Bangladesh, student prefer to join a job rather than higher studies. So basically, most of the student prefer programming related job or IT related job. And a percentage of student who have the better result and they have the ambitious for higher studies, those student takes the research project.
Right, great. Prof, we noticed from your publications that you have many papers in high impact journal. So we are wondering, like being in computer science and engineering, if somebody wish to publish in that top journal, where they should start at, or how they should go
Oh,
about the research. Just a brief idea about it.
okay. You are also a very good researcher, and you have a lots of high impact publication. Publication is the same procedure for in every field, but in our computer science we have just some basic templates or basic. There is a some methodologies for in every field, how we collect data, how we organize those data. I mentioned some of them. In our computer science, basically we start our research, or also you can say write the research article. We start from the finding a problem. First you have to find your problem, or what you want to solve. So you have to find the problem. There is no problem, there is no solution or no research.
Right.
So after find your problem statement, then you have to need literature review. You can study your existing solution. After that, you have to find the new solution. Then assumption, limitation, and in the methodologies, you need to analyze. And we are in computer science. Most of the case, we do our research in simulation. Even we do have also some test bed, and finally, you have to conclude all those things. This is the basic of a research, and you know that. And what is the how can you write or organize your research finding? There is a art, and you have to choose a lucrative title. 90% people or 90% reader just read your title.
Yeah, yeah.
So your title, your introduction, and your abstract will be nice, and it must be lucrative. And only 4 to 5% people actually read the whole article. So you have to write your article precisely in the introductory field, in the abstract field, so that you can catch the readers. Okay. I can say elaborately how our computer science article we are organized.
Right.
So in the abstract, I
Yeah.
can say the details. Okay, okay. In the abstract field, we basically write the problem statement, that is research under consideration, short list of existing solution, and necessity of the proposed solution and why it is, and how significantly affect the community, and what type of analysis was done to prove it better, and measure commercial highlighting or reason of feasibility. This is we cover in the abstract so that reader are interested to read the whole article. And the reviewer and reader are busy person, so you have to write this precisely.
Right, right. Yeah. Prof, how would you rate it, or how where you put it, the networking, the importance of having network with different part of the world, or maybe different outside the big shorts or big professors to get into top ranked journal?
Okay, thank you. This is a, the publication also is a art, and when the reviewer will be feel comfort when some big shot or some influential people of my field are with my co-author, they can feel safe. So
Right.
when we write or prepare a draft, we have to look at the collaborator, very similar to with my field. So I propose them that we can write or collaborate these things. So most of the time I find a positive reply from the collaborator. So after that, after my initial draft, we closely collaborate. We send our draft. They give they give their feedback, and lots of communicating with the collaborator. And finally, when complete our article or draft, this will be very nice, and we can sure that this will be accepted, or we can find the appropriate journal. Most of the time, when we are both collaborator are finalized that this is that journal or that article we can submit, most of the time we get the positive feedback, and most of the time it is accepted.
Right.
uh, okay,
So,
thank you.
so the collaboration does matter when it comes to publication. And if you are lucky enough to get the big shots in your area, so definitely it will give a privilege in terms of having
Yes, yes, yes.
more on like reliability, the scientificness of the paper. So the next things that would be willing to know from you about your journey to become a professor. Many of us, the young chaps, I would say, the young academician or novice researcher, we would all love to be a professor. That is the ultimate goal of being an academician, right? So how was your journey from the day one, then you started your school from the professor? So I mean, just a brief idea that you could share with us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mahfuz. I already
Yeah, man.
told my journey from beginning school to the my PhD. And in Bangladesh, every university have some rules for the become a professor, and yeah, I think it's can be easily managed if you have some good journal and some good publication. And in Bangladesh also have a impact for the length of the journey, length of the as a faculty member. In normally Bangladesh, it takes 12 to 14 years as a active teaching faculty member, and if you have the lots of around 12 to 15 index journal, then you can become professor. Luckily, I have got this one, and I have the length of more than 14 or 15 years. So I become the professor. So that I become professor. This one is a enjoyable and memorable day, because every academician have a target to become a professor. But after becoming a professor, that was a duty and responsibility to become. I work for my community. I become for my scholarly community. I have to show something for my student, and so that I can make my student to become a good human being, to become the successful in their field. So I have to motivate my student, and if I can, it will be my success if I can make motivate some of my student to become successful person in their life. And I also trying to my student to motivate for to become the research for higher studies, and also make some contribution to the nation. So this is my duty, roles, and responsibility as a professor in Bangladesh. Recently, I am trying to my university become active, or I am trying to engage with my student during the COVID-19 situation. As a dean of faculty of engineering, I have some role to make the ICT is available for everyone. For in my university there is a lots of faculty member in different discipline. Then
Right.
some of my faculty member are not so much familiar with the ICT. So I am trying to make my university normal. I am trying to make the all the faculty member can collaborate, can make communication with the student. So this is I am performing as a duty as a dean in the faculty, and the basic duty of professor, profess the nation or profess the society.
Right.
I'm very small person, I cannot do this, but I am trying to do.
That's wonderful, Prof. That is
Thank
what is expected, and definitely that is why the people are looking forward to the professors for the contribution to making the society, to making the nation great. So I think knowing the fact that we have an influence, or professor does have an influence to the society. So in recently, what we noticed that the millennials, especially the millennials, very young, who are having a lot of troubles due to this COVID-19. Many of them missing their exams. They're not sure about whether the university is going to start soon and how. So they are somehow kind of, I would say, many of them, they already left the school, I heard, and some of them left the colleges and they started working, supporting their family. All sort of things are happening. So in that situations, what would be your state to them, or your advice to them to be relevant in the academia?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. We are actually passing a great trouble of the world, especially we are the academician, the student. Everything is shut down. All the university, school. So, and it is very tough to maintain the good mental health or psychologically fit, both for the student, for the faculty. And when people cannot go outside, basically student cannot go outside. I see some of the news that many of the students from different university mentally depressed during this
Right.
situation. So we are encourage the faculty member to personally or closely communicate with the student, so that they can stable their mental condition. In our country, many of the student comes from very remote area. Many financially actually they are not good in financial condition. So some student who are in final year, they are trying to graduate it and find for the job. So many things in last 9 or 10 months we are suffering. So it is a challenging job for our faculty member to encourage our student. But we are trying, everybody. I think you also trying from your position for your student. I am trying And I encourage all the faculty member from university, school, college, from everywhere, they can closely communicate with their students so that they can be mentally strength or in good health. They can keep faith that they can do in this year 2020. It is a good things that if we have a good health rather than the education.
Right.
So we have to maintain our good health. We have to follow the WHO guidelines to overcome the COVID-19. I think in the world many times face some problem, but we people overcome all those things. So I believe and I have a faith that we can overcome this situation. Everything will be good. So just keep patient and follow the uh, health activities that give us the suggestion the health expertise. And also in the home we can, as much as possible, we can keep task with books or academic activities.
Right.
So
Prof, the last question
okay,
that
thank you.
would go to you, the last question would be, due to all sort of technology that we are using, especially for COVID-19, we are using all this e-learning, we're using all sort of softwares, Zooms, all the platforms, right? And we're using the cloud computing all. So when you are more depending on computer, the technologies, so what would be the risk in terms of health, in terms of security, just in a brief?
Oh, actually, thank you, Professor. Basically, we are facing a difficult time. You know, when a baby did not get the breastfeeding, that time we have to give the supplementary food for this baby to keep alive. So we
Right.
are facing that time. So the e-learning or online platform is not the solution or replace of face to face. There is no alternative of face to face education, but we have to maintain or we have to keep the education continuing. So this is a interim condition, this is not the regular condition. And everybody, we do believe that the world will be normal and we again go to the classroom. In, you know, this is a heavenly relation between student and teacher in the classroom. When I see the face of my student, I forget all my the bad things. But you know, this is the not the normal condition, so we have to keep continuing everything normal. So we are using the advantage of ICT. This is just a supplementary, this is not the regular things. So when the world will be normal, we go to the classroom, student also can enjoy, teacher can enjoy, and the world will be the better things.
Right.
But doesn't matter, we have to do with these things.
Right. Although we have some health risk with the
Yeah,
technology and
yeah, we have the health risks. I already before our discussion, I already told you that I am facing some problem. I face sometime I got the migraine because we are in a lot of time. Most of the time of the day, we are in front of computer or laptop.
right,
So
right,
it can radiation can affect our eyes. Radiation can affect our brain. And when we are sitting in the most of the time in the chair, we also got the back pain. So this is the health condition we
right.
are suffering, but
So
we
each
cannot
coin,
avoid these things.
right. So each coin has a double side. So we got to be facing some of the challenges, and
Hmm.
in that situations, and with that note and good discussions, a lot of input and lights on the area of computer science and engineering. Professor, we are very, very grateful to have you on this show this tonight. And I would love to have you on again for different webinars, hopefully. So that's how we contribute to the society. Ladies and gentlemen, dear viewers who are watching our Scholar Alab, for your information, Scholar Alab is basically organized by Linkwith Research and Training Center. The purpose, the aim, the hope of Linkwith is to create and promote research culture in Bangladesh and in different part of the world. With that hope and thanking our professor, Dr. Mustafa Kamal Nasir, we would like to end up our show tonight. And I will see you again next Friday Till then, stay safe, stay blessed. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam, and thank you. This is a very nice time with you. Okay,
Thank you very
goodbye.
much. Yeah.